Hello, we are Adventura, and today we are going to be listening to some new Ren. Before we dive into the new song, we are actually going to talk a little bit about the chapters that he's recently released on Ren Makes Stuff. If you aren't familiar with this, I highly encourage you to go check it out. But there's eight videos, eight different chapters in which really it is just Ren sharing his life story, his difficulties, and triumphs, and admittedly, a lot more difficulties than triumphs. But seeing where he came from, I think is really important. Especially, it seems like this song may play into that quite a bit. The name of the song is Troubles. Um, so yeah, but Casey, what I'll let you kind of give your thoughts on the chapters that we've listened to, and we can kind
Oh,
of kick it off from there.
my boy Ren. He has been through a lot. I don't. If you've watched these chapters, you already know that. But my goodness, I can't. I honestly cannot even imagine going through all of these struggles that he has, and the people in his life, and uh, losing a friend the way he did, Joe.
Yeah,
Um, I, I mean, genuinely, I just can't imagine.
yeah.
So,
I mean, and
uh,
yeah, so much, and it's not even like Joe is obviously a big one, but like you can tell just the way he talks. Joe is like the one he names, but you can tell there's a lot, and there are some others. Like Callum is the one who died cliff diving and stuff. He had just, I think the way I don't have it written down exactly, but he said at one point his whole life was swirling around death
right.
effectively, and in a lot of it, I'm sure is how he was feeling too. So we'll dive into this a bit more probably with the actual reaction to the video, but throughout his life, he finally figured out he got misdiagnosed a whole lot, which led to a whole lot more issues ultimately.
So,
Yeah.
actually, real quick, let me ask real fast. I forgot to do this for this video. I kind of meant to, but Um, I know he mentioned, I think 2016 is when it started getting better. Can you confirm or deny?
I can't. I don't have.
Okay.
I don't know.
I really wish we had a date of kind of like just kind of a span of this, but that's
Mm,
all right. That's all
yeah.
right. We can. I mean, we'll go on. It was a lot. It was a years.
Yes.
I'm safe
Yes.
to say, um, that he was like you said misdiagnosed and all
Mm-hmm.
of this stuff, and yeah,
And so he ended up. I think ultimately he's kind of gotten two big diagnoses throughout his life, which is ME, which is also known as chronic fatigue syndrome, and that was kind of one of the first things that he was diagnosed with. Um, and then much later on, after several issues and several misdiagnoses and lots of consequences from those, he was finally diagnosed with Lyme disease. Um,
which in perspective, this happens in chapter 7, if I'm not
yes,
mistaken.
uh,
So, I mean,
yes,
y'all should be going back and watching these, by the way, before you
absolutely,
get to
absolutely,
here. But I mean, it's a lot later
yeah,
that he realizes it's Lyme disease.
yeah, and it is interesting because like just as a whole, I got introduced to Ren with High Ren. I think as a lot of people did. Obviously, there's a fan base before then, but that's when a lot of people started picking up on him.
Lot of
And
people, for sure.
a lot of this stuff, I did know because a lot of the songs since then, like I knew the story about Joe, I knew he had Lyme disease, but he goes into so much of this, and that I definitely didn't know. And honestly, it is just such a fascinating portrayal of his own journey. And one thing I also really like is each video, for the most part, ends with kind of a music video from him.
Yeah.
And so it kind of gives you this little piece of a timeline. And, it's interesting because I've watched a lot of those videos before, but without the fuller context a lot of the times. And so,
I'm with you on that.
and honestly, that's probably a good shout into what we're about to watch with Troubles. Is I do think so many of these chapters are going to provide context for this song. Um, but yeah, any other specific shout outs you wanted to do before we dive into Troubles?
Yeah. I will throw this out there as a parent. As a parent, I gotta shout his mom out a
Yeah.
little bit. Dude, I know he moved. I think he mentioned a couple times in there that he moved back in there. I can't imagine. That woman is a beast.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know what else. Like, that woman is amazing. Like, I can't imagine what it's like to see your son going through all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's kind of
And
a
just
side note. I know. But,
yeah, and just how
oh,
helpless you'd have to feel too. It's just,
yeah.
I
There's
mean,
nothing you can do, and no parent,
yeah.
no parent. I'm a father of three, and I would, oh my goodness. That
Mm-hmm.
that stresses me out just thinking about it.
Yeah.
And so shout out to Ren's mom,
Shout out to
I
Mama
guess.
Rin.
There you go. So
Absolutely.
with that said, I mean, let's check out Troubles.
Let's do it.
Oh, he gave us a little bit of a timeline.
Yeah, there we
There we
go.
go. Attaboy.
I don't reach into the past very much for these shards of shattered glass and harsh paper cuts. Leave me stop when I reach in, memories are seeping. Hydrochloric acid, I go to war and get passive and freeze up. Music help the ice to thaw. Put the chisel in the middle, swing the hammer of Thor. Pull it out of the impossible, Excalibur sword. Etching notepads full of reasons why my feelings are sore. The first day that I got sick, ejected from the cockpit of living. 19, young teen, waking up bitter. Posters up, manhunt, Ren went missing. Hard to have faith when the gods don't listen. The first hit maybe was the hardest. Waking in the body that was buried like a carcass. Brain in the lion's den, body in the shark pit. Waking up in pain again, aching, broken hearted. Persistent little blogger, I was bouncing from a doctor to a doctor to a doctor. Like a table tennis game that has no end. So be the fate of Ren. Every single question answered with a question on the end. The second year I came to terms with giving up my dreams. Mine was severed from the means to help me write these rhyme schemes. Brain was inflamed, the fatigue was crushing. Hard to remain sane with your brain combusting. And the third year was murder, living in a purgatory full of worry, wouldn't live to be 30. Lifestyle hurt me, always in my bed tomb. Rearranged the alphabet and all the letters spelled doom. Light hurt my eyes, popping pills to survive. When you're 23 and mentally you steadily decline. 24 I was poor, disability benefits. What's the benefit of disability? It's irrelevant. 25 and the scars that were etched, they crack. Elastic bands only stretch so far and then snap. Deep in psychosis, hallucinations, troubled vision. Visits from the underworld were conjuring my superstition. 25 living back at home with my mum, but not because I'm a bum. Alone and physically done. So thin, so frail, so weak I'd become. And my skin so pale, never kissed by the sun. One time I carved a hole in my chest just to feel. I wished I was a metaphor, the struggle was real. When you're living in the Holocaust, you buckle and kneel. There's relief in the teeth of the kiss of cold steel. Facts. 26, I'm highly medicated and the pain sophisticated while I'm lying broken naked on my back. I brought my microphone until my coffin started dropping raw thoughts with the grim reaper knocking on the track. But then, man, lo and behold, I heard an angel beckon on this treacherous road. Was a stem cell doctor with a generous glow. In the cell transplant brought me out of the cold. And my skin got younger and my body got stronger. And my stomach felt hunger for a door that was closed. And my soul heard music for the first time. Beauty was a word I'd use for this gift of gold. Oh Lord, I forgive you. Lord, I forgive you. Lord, I forgive you. Make me whole. This music I give you. Pain that I live through. Everything I've been through is yours to hold.
So that was Troubles by Ren. I'm just going to kick off by saying if any of that story intrigued you and you want to know more, or definitely go check out those chapters. I mean, you get such a deep appreciation of his story from those chapters, and it was just, this was like the summary version effectively. And even just the little outro, The Trouble's So Hard, is like one of his first, big viral shorts or videos, right? And it's him singing this song by the daughter of a slave owner from the 40s, and that's what he's sampling there. And so many little, I want to say shout outs, but it's just his story. So much of his story is in that song. Yeah.
I mean, genuinely, I think he nailed it. I think that summarized it spot on.
Yeah.
That was really good. Man. So, I mean, first thing, I always love Ren. Even within the chapters,
Mm-hmm.
him just speaking words almost felt like he was rapping
Yeah,
and flowing.
he has a flow. He has a flow to him, even when he's just talking.
And I don't know if that's normal day to day, but with what he did for his chapters, there was.
Yeah.
And so with that song, and what we've listened to in the past, man, just his delivery, is just spectacular. And with that said, I noticed that jacket right at the beginning of that is what did it say exactly?
Hollywood spat me out, I believe.
Spat me out. There you go. I was thinking Hollywood rejected me, which
effectively.
Same, effectively, yeah. So I mean, which they're crazy because this boy has so much skill. He can sing. I mean, his flow is beautiful, and I mean, he's got such passion. And you learn this through the chapters, and that you should have already listened to. That I'm so happy that we have a Ren now.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, and I'll dive into this a little bit with chapter 8. Chapter 8's the last one. Yeah. And there's just, he basically talks about when his body finally starts functioning for him being effectively. Better. It's still not fantastic compared to what,
normal.
What would be normal. But but he just talks about being able to go live life, and like I'm just so happy for him. Like,
he had some fun with a lady on a beach.
He did have some fun with a lady on the beach.
Yeah.
That's the main takeaway.
No, it's absolutely not. But I mean, he's getting to live life.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because 19 to 26, right? I think is what that video said. So he had 7 years, and I mean,
and for me personally, my life, which we will not get into, but those are big years. Those are like formative years. Those are fantastic years, and he lost those. So now he's getting them.
Yeah.
So, dude, go, bro.
Yeah, and just in general with this song, I love. Basically, to me, the whole purpose of this song is to push that hope that he wished he'd had to others. I mean, I think that, like, it pretty much says that in there. It's like there aren't enough songs about hope in general in this way, where it is, a lot of these are what I would call silent diseases, right? They're not diseases that a lot of the times you can see.
I mean, admittedly, Ren taught me about ME. I had never heard of that. I had to Google it. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, very silent.
Yes. So, it's just so good. I mean, I'm just going to put this little caveat on there just because a lot of the topics covered, especially in the chapters, a little bit in here, but like, if you need help, always go seek it out. Find friends, find professionals, whatever you can do. That's more, and part of that is the mental side, but also, I mean, if you the thing is, if you're suffering from these things, you have these things, but I also hope this kind of helps encourage people to go, I know something's wrong with my body and I don't know what it is, to go figure that out and hopefully be able to help. Because that's his main story, honestly, for so much of his life was just his body was not functioning.
I'd say that's most of it, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more,
Yes.
but that was a vast of it.
Yeah. For the physical side of it, I think that's the main story.
Yeah.
And then there's the mental side, which
Of course.
there's a lot more to that too. So, and those intertwine a lot with his story. So,
They do.
yeah.
They do.
But
So.
whew, it was a big one. But definitely loved that song. Definitely loved those story and the fact that he was willing to share that story. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff there that's hard to talk about. Even just his pre-recorded stuff, you can tell it was hard for him to get through a lot of that. So, very thankful for him being willing to do that.
I wouldn't want to do that. So,
No.
I mean, definitely props for that.
Absolutely. Any closing thoughts?
Go listen to everything that is Ren.
Everything. If you don't know where to start, I will say I will have links to Trouble. I'll also link chapter 1. You definitely should listen to them in order. So once you find chapter 1, finding the rest of them isn't too complicated. So,
but at the same time, all the music, just
yes.
go listen to all of it. It doesn't
Also,
matter.
If you need a starting point, I don't know why you're here. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how this is the first time you've ever heard of Ren. That would be really confusing to me.
That would be odd.
But if you're new to him, honestly, I would say go start with the chapters, and then let that kind of guide what you're interested in. I think that would be an interesting way to go about it, because, like, especially if you're gonna okay, I'll say this. Maybe the last, 10 songs from his YouTube page are phenomenal. High Ren especially. But if you are going to dive into the older catalog, that's when I'd suggest diving into chapters.
All right, to finish this out, real fast, favorite Ren song? Go.
I mean, it's High Ren, but there's a lot of other ones I could shout out to.
Okay, so Nathaniel shouts out High Ren. I'm looking for it. My personal favorite, pretty hands down, is the YouTube version of Chalk Outline.
That was going to be the other one I shouted out.
With
Chinchilla?
Chinchilla.
Yeah. That one's so good.
And it's the YouTube version of it, to clarify. The Spotify, or the
streaming one.
The other one is good, but the YouTube one with her is amazing.
Agreed.
So, there you go. High Ren and that one.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, well, thank you for joining us on this journey. There's a lot of other, also, musical artists mentioned in the chapters that I'm not going to lie, we may reach out to and check out some of that, because there's a lot of those that I was like, they got me intrigued, so look out for some of that in the future. We don't really need Ren suggestions, but whatever else you got.
Yeah, I mean, here comes Sam Tompkins.
Yes,
that's the main one that I was like, we need to check that one out.
We probably need to check him out. Yes, absolutely. So, with that said, hope you enjoyed this video. Reach out if you need help, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Later.